on the Second Great Awakening. The Second Great Awakening had a tremendous impact on the abolitionist cause by creating moral devotion and rallying activists. It aroused wide opposition to slavery through passionate sermons and church organizing activities, fostering a communal feeling of moral duty that contributed to the end of the system. The turning point in American history was driven by renowned religious leaders such as Charles Finney, Lyman Beecher, and Peter Cartwright, who sparked spiritual devotion across the country. What distinguishes this movement is its global reach, which attracts followers from a variety of social and economic backgrounds, including both urban and rural explorers. The Second Great Awakening was more than just a religious revival, it was a social and cultural event that changed American culture, leaving a lasting impact on America. The Second Great Awakening was a religious revival movement that swept across the United States in the early 19th century. It had far-reaching consequences for both spiritually and social reform. Its focus on individual choice, forgiveness, and moral reflection encouraged many Christians to reconsider their convictions, specifically regarding the concept of slavery. As the movement grew, an increasing number of believers came to regard slavery as ethically immoral with their faith, sparking a heated discussion. This religious reflection inspired the emergence of abolitionism, a social reform movement that committed to emancipating enslaved people and creating a society with greater equality. The Second Great Awakening, therefore, had a significant impact on perceptions concerning slavery and inspired activists for social change. The Second Great Awakening ran from 1795 until 1835. This revolutionary movement emerged in the northeast region of the United States. Despite significant shifts in society following the American Revolution and the founding of a developing country, it influenced the country, particularly in the vast northern regions, where it created a moral and cultural renaissance, altering the foundations of American life. The cultural, economic, and political changes of the early American country sparked a tremendous spiritual rebirth in this era. This movement emerged as a light of hope amidst rapid changes, providing purpose, individuality, and moral clarity to an increasingly divided society. Religious figures such as Charles Finney captivated audiences with enthusiastic preaching centered on emotional experiences and personal conversion, whereas evangelical preachers traveled the country spreading the message of salvation through nomadic journeys, gatherings, and revival events, forming small groups bound by faith. However, the Second Great Awakening had an impact that went beyond religious issues, interacting with the developing abolitionist movement. Its concentration on ethics and human accountability struck a chord with abolitionists, instilling a passion for social justice and opposing the system of slavery. Leaders in the movement, moved by awakening's demand for reform, offered their voices to the cause, asking for the freedom of enslaved people and the elimination of slavery entirely. The combination of Christian revivalism and abolitionism had far-reaching consequences for the nation's beliefs, driving anti-slavery sentiment and compelling communities to confront the ethical problem presented by slavery, eventually clearing the way for its destruction in the United States. To summarize everything that was said in the presentation, the Second Great Awakening in the early 19th century not only generated a religious resurgence but also served as the moral and religious foundation for the cause of abolition in America. This awakening elevated awareness about slavery's moral consequences through heated preachings and committed prayer gatherings, leading people to confront it being unacceptable. Despite opposition from those who attempted to justify slavery using theological grounds, the movement inspired a new generation of religious activists who saw abolition as an ethical requirement rooted in the Gospels of Christ. Over time, their efforts swayed public opinion, and transformed the cultural and religious environment in favor of liberty, providing the strength of faith and activism in seeking justice.